WBNE.
Howdy, yokes. Before we get started today, we just wanted to let you know that this episode of Bacon and Eggs is brought to you by our patrons. We want to build this thing to be as big as it can be, and we want to make more podcasts for you, but we can't do it alone. If you enjoyed this episode and want more Bacon and Eggs, or maybe you need a service for your podcast, or maybe are looking for a network for your podcast to join, head over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/baconandeggs, or head to our website at wbne.org. On our Patreon page, you can check out our new $10 tier, which is not new anymore, but it still says new on my reading thing right here. We're very up to date on everything, like your post office. But that grants you access not only to our bonus show, The Hash Browns, but you'll also get unedited episodes of Bacon and Eggs. Also, if you're looking for services for your podcast, be it editing or looking to join a network to help grow your show or whatever it might be, you can head over to WBNE.org and click on the Join WBNE button and use that as a sort of like an all-purpose contact form. You can hear all the behind-the-scenes moments that go into making an episode on the unedited episodes, and we can edit your episodes on WBNE.org. We could really use your help to make this podcast the best it can possibly be, so thank you for donating, and thank you even more for listening. Howdy, yokes, and welcome back to Bacon and Eggs. I'm Tyler Carlin.
And I'm Ethan Edgehill.
And today we're bringing our girlfriend home for Christmas.
Or maybe she's just a roommate.
So kill your best friend's fish.
And jam a painting over someone's head.
Because today we're bringing you
Happiest Season.
So, Happiest Season was directed by Clea Duvall, and it came out on November 25th, 2020, just 5 days ago. It's a Hulu
original movie, which is not something I ever thought we were really gonna run up against.
You know, last week was a Hulu as well.
But it was not a Hulu original movie. It was just on Hulu.
Yes.
Hulu.
We don't know the budget. My guess would be $25 million.
That seems like so much.
Do you think?
Yeah. They made Love, Simon on like $8 million.
Okay. Well, then maybe it's in that $8 million range. I have no idea. It made Hulu money. I've talked to a lot of people who have already seen it, but also
hey,
when
Siri,
we asked
how much
for
did Love,
scores,
Simon cost to make? Told me nothing. Frick you, Siri.
I've spoken to a lot of people who have already seen this, but I think also the circles I exist in are like gay Christian movie. Or gay Christmas movie? Sign me up.
Gay Christian movie.
You know what? I've seen ChristianMingle.com, the movie, and that kind of falls into that category as well. Got an 83% critic rating, an 84% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 69 on Metacritic. Ethan, do you have listener reviews?
I do. I also have a professional negative review.
Do you have a professional
negative review? Which is the thing I do first.
Okay, professional negative review.
I got a review here from Jake Wilson of The Age in Australia.
You doing the accent?
Oh, do I have to?
You have to, 100%.
Happiest Season sets itself the challenge of acknowledging pain and conflict while somehow finding its way to a unifying happy end. But the sentiment here never take feelings in, especially as much of the writing is broad to a point of crudity.
Beautiful. I have a review from Clarice Lawfrey at The Independent in the United Kingdom. And she says, it's the performances, each funny and grounded in their own way, that make Happiest Season feel like such a gift. And that review came out on my birthday, where it already is my birthday in the UK. Very new review. Very new. 4 out of 5 stars.
We also have listener reviews from Bacon and Eggs listeners like yourself in the Bacon and Eggs Discord. Go to Discord. Nope, not Discord.com. Go to patreon.com/baconandeggs to join the Discord for $3 a month.
Yeah, it's nothing, man. You get a coffee in Legoland for that.
You can go to discord.com, but it's not going to get you very far toward joining the Bacon and Eggs Discord,
which is behind a paywall. I really liked our listener reviews. We have a negative review this week, so I want to read the negative review since I do the positive review.
Yeah.
Usually we just have positive reviews.
We have a properly negative review of this movie.
So this comes from Vinny, and this comes from Vinny, and they say, Queer Rep is cool, but this is a bad story. The couple shouldn't have stayed together. They shouldn't have treated Jane like that. Every character except Abby is bad, and they end up spinning it off with some classic always forgive family magic and ew. 25 out of 100.
And I've got a positive review here from Pix who says 86 out of 100. I love that this features a real queer relationship and that the holiday love story tropes were still all here but felt refreshed. And before I forget the statement I was going to make, I do just want to make this point real quick. At some point, Dan Levy's character, who I think John is his name, I don't really know.
Yes, John.
He says to Abby, played by Kristen Stewart, that like everybody has their own story and everybody has their own journey. And like that's the same with this movie. Like it's not gonna hit everybody the same.
I think you're right. I think also I'm curious your Ethan score on this.
I give it a 60.
I give it a 65. Really? Yeah.
So you got a couple things to play here. Let's just dive straight into it. You got a couple things to play here. One, it's very cool to see like a properly gay Christmas movie, right?
I'll tell you what's even better than a properly gay Christmas movie. A mediocre gay Christmas movie. How awesome is that?
It does go a long way toward normalizing things, but it doesn't like it still definitely is. There's some weird steps in here, right? Like
it is a step in a direction.
It is a step in a direction, and we Tyler and I are not queer people, right?
No, we are huge allies. Though I didn't realize this. So we did Hearts Beats Loud last week. I think the last like 10 movies I've watched, more than half of them have featured at least a queer character.
It's
in some
just
way.
starting to be so in there that it don't even notice it anymore.
Yeah, because I had seen Hearts Beat Loud and I forgot.
Yeah, which
that
is
there were queer
awesome.
characters in it.
Love it. But at the same time, like even as a straight white dude, I was like, I need to talk to some people about this and see not how I'm supposed to feel, but like get the kind of temperature in the water, because there were some parts of it that still felt weird even to me as Jane the ally, who doesn't have my own secrets, but I am an ally.
Yeah. I think so. My understanding is Jane's character, the actress that plays Jane, wrote this. I could be wrong about that. So
I've heard that she was the writer was somebody in the movie.
Let's see. So Jane is not listed here on the this version of it. So let me pull it up on IMDb.
Oh, but on the other side of that, I just want to finish the point I was making. On one hand, you have it's cool. The queer representation is cool in a Christmas movie, and it's cool that it just starts breaking down the doors a little bit, because they can't all be beautiful art films, right? You still have to make bad movies about gay people. You still have to make mediocre movies about gay people to the point where they just becomes part of movies. That being said, this is an uncomfortable Christmas movie to watch.
Why do you think it's uncomfortable? It's supposed to be like a feel-good movie.
No, it's not though. At the end of it, sure. But it's this white family Christmas card type. This is Deck the Halls without Matthew Broderick, right? It's just like everything that could possibly go wrong goes wrong for a white family at Christmas.
So this to me is miles ahead of. So unpopular opinion here. A lot of people who love Christmas movies will love Christmas Vacation. Nothing makes me more uncomfortable than Christmas Vacation. Like watching Chevy Chase fail and like a squirrel jump out of his Christmas tree makes my skin crawl.
Right, this is just a milquetoast version of Christmas Vacation.
I think this is better than Christmas Vacation. Truthfully, I think it's because Mackenzie Davis looks so much like gosh, I cannot think of her name right
Sarah
now.
Paulson?
Who's Sarah Paulson?
Sarah Paulson is she's Sarah Paulson. I don't know how to...
No, she looks so much like Allison Williams.
Oh, I was mixing up who Mackenzie Davis was. Because the girl who plays Jane looks like Sarah Paulson.
Mary Holland is who you're thinking of.
Yes. The actress that plays Harper looks so much like Allison Williams that I got huge Get Out vibes as soon as she was like, I'm taking my girlfriend home for Christmas. And I was like, is this going to be... Is Kristen Stewart going to
do
killed?
A lobotomy? I genuinely, like, I was watching it. They were in the car driving down there, and she was like, I have something to tell you about my... I was like, oh, God, this is it.
Hey, you got to know something about my family.
And it's like, whoa. Your family kills black people and takes their bodies? And then they get there, and Mary Steenburgen is playing the mom in a Christmas movie. What are the odds? That's like her only role. Elf. Yeah.
And freaking Victor Garber, my dude. I love Victor Garber so much.
I don't know who he is outside of this. I don't.
So Victor Garber is the jackass lawyer from Legally Blonde. He's the ship engineer from Titanic. He plays Thomas Andrews.
Yes.
In Titanic, he is a bunch of people. He's in Chicago. He's a song and dance man.
Yes, he's fantastic. I was excited to see him in the film, even if he is playing like a sort of homophobic.
He does
politician.
his part. He does these parts very well, right?
Yeah,
like he's a real Chris Cooper type. Chris Cooper's the dad in October Sky.
Okay, yeah.
Where it's like when he gets to play jerk-faced dad, it like works.
Yes.
So phenomenal cast all across the board. It took me about halfway through the movie to recognize Alison Brie. She looks so different.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was Alison Brie until we started recording, truthfully.
Yeah. Fantastic cast across the board. Just oodles of wonderful women actors. And Dan Levy, however it's pronounced.
And Jonathan McDormand from Greek.
Wait, who?
Or Jake McDormand. I'm sorry, Jake McDormand from Greek.
Who's Jake McDormand from Greek? Who does he play in Greek, and who does he play in this?
He is
he Connor?
He's Connor. He's the ex-boyfriend. And then in Greek, he was Evan Chambers.
No.
Yes.
No. Evan Chambers is the guy from Limitless.
Yeah.
He looks so different.
He doesn't. He looks exactly the same.
He looks so different.
It's the same dude.
What?
It's the same dude. You could tell they were like, we couldn't get Jonathan Groff. I guess is Jake McDormand okay? You could tell that was the casting room conversation. Oh,
He's in the right stuff. I've been told to watch that.
He nailed it. And Dan Levy.
I don't think I paid attention anytime Connor was on screen. His character was so just like, oh, he's there to
forgettable.
Be forgettable, but also he was just so formulaic. He was there to be like the enemy.
So
right, because Harper needed a guy and Abby needed a girl.
So I'll confess to you, I was drinking red wine while I watched this, and I was also, just kind of doom scrolling through Discord and Twitter while this was all happening. So there's a little bit of detail I missed.
The first act drags. I missed a bunch of stuff.
I want to know if you can tell me more specific than she's the other ex-girlfriend or the other ex. What is Aubrey Plaza doing in this movie?
So Aubrey Plaza, Riley, she was Harper's lesbian awakening.
Yes, and she's like the family friend.
Right.
So she
she's
shows up
friend.
at all the family events.
And when Harper was pushed to either confirm or deny the rumors, she was like, oh my God, Riley's a lesbian and wants to like get with me so bad.
Okay, that scene I missed.
And just like destroyed Riley.
Okay.
And so Riley tells Abby that, and Abby's like, well, that's exactly what she's doing to me right now. And then Riley's like, no way, Aubrey Plaza, haha, totally not, it couldn't happen to you, no way.
I didn't think she had any business being in this movie, truthfully.
No, I thought she was fantastic. I love her character.
Well, I think it's because I looked down while that was happening, so I missed that whole arc.
Yeah, because Abby needs a friend, right? Abby needs a confidant, and somebody that doesn't like, she's not pushing her by any, because it could have been really shitty, right? It could have been this girl pressures Abby into breaking up with Harper.
Or it could have been Abby goes on this trip, meets Riley, who is out and comfortable,
right, and
ends up with Riley,
right, and that's what she was there for, was to be that fear,
was to just be that red herring,
red herring. Yeah, well, she's that fear for Harper that Abby's just gonna fall for the hot lesbian girl that's like out and comfortable, and Abby's fear is that Harper's gonna fall for the hot guy that she used to date and realize that she was never actually a lesbian or whatever. Because Abby's got some like of her own demons to deal with, right? Like she seems like she's never really had it bad as a gay. Like she, even when pressed, she was like, yeah, my parents loved and supported me. And Dan Levy was like, oh, that's cute. My dad didn't speak to me for 13 years. Check your lane.
Which is not true. Eugene Levy loves Dan.
Is Dan gay?
I know that. So Schitt's Creek is all about a world where there is no homophobia.
That's cool.
It's very, very cool the way it plays out.
I've put it in my list after a couple other things.
So, and then the quote he has in Schitt's Creek is he's talking to sort of his like female counterpart about his sexuality, and this is like the only time they address it in the whole show, and then he ends up marrying a man at the end, where she's like, do you drink red wine or white wine? And he's like, I drink red, but sometimes I drink white. And then he says, I like the wine, but not the label. So I think he's playing a pansexual character in the show.
I just wasn't sure if he was like the next great gay actor.
I mean, I don't know that he's not, and I don't want to say that I would assume that he is, but I believe that he is gay. I legitimately don't know much about this guy. I didn't know if there was some like thing I was missing, because it seems like Schitt's Creek is definitely something, and I don't know if like it finished up recently or it's
what.
Over, yeah.
But did it just recently finish?
Yeah. Okay. So it finished, and then it won all the awards.
Right. Yeah, I know it swept the Emmys or whatever, and it's definitely been one of those like Tiger King moments during quarantine.
Yeah.
Where everybody's like, okay, I picked this thing up. I was going to watch it after I was done with The Queen's Gambit, but I'm going to have to watch Mad Men again.
Queen's Gambit is high on my list as well.
It's exceptionally good. It's got its own set of problems in that it was like a show about a woman written almost entirely by men, and that's, comes with its own share of issues. But apparently they did a lot to like reclaim the book or whatever.
Is there a book?
There's a book. And it was just apparent. I don't know if I don't think it's a biography or like an autobiography. I think it's like somebody writing a book about Beth Harmon. And
I don't know who Beth Harmon is.
She was a chess player.
Oh,
it's a biopic.
Neat.
I believe. But from what I understand about the book is it's just a bunch of like lesbian fetishizing. I'm not entirely sure who wrote the book, but I think it was a man writing a book about this woman chess player who is like the only woman chess player during her time. But it's set in the 60s and it looks exactly like Mad Men, and now it's making me want to watch Mad. It's just like Smoke Gets in Your Eyes for 7 straight episodes.
There was something recently that I saw that was very Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, and it was an ad for something where I was like, they just opened a door they didn't realize they could open, and I can't remember what it was now.
Well, that's the thing is Mad Men's been out long enough that you can just copy it now.
That's one thing I've seen where a lot of people, like you'll end up, if you're on business TikTok at all, you'll eventually end up on, marketing and advertising TikTok. And people will be like, yeah, I have a degree in advertising, but I learned more from Mad Men than my degree, which is misleading, listener. Mad Men colored the outlines their degree created, okay?
Yeah. If you don't know anything about marketing and advertising, you don't learn anything about marketing and advertising from Mad Men.
Right. So like Mad Men is practical examples of the concepts that you've been studying and taking tests on. It is not like it's the same with The Good Place, where if you watch it and you're like, oh, they talked about, philosophy and I learned this lesson. You're not going to be like, I know that David Hume said this.
I don't know anything about marketing or advertising. I did learn a lot about design from Mad Men, about the thought behind like font choice and stuff like that, like product design. I think Mad Men colors every time I do like an album cover or something like that. Anything that I'm putting a font on, I think about Mad Men. I think about like what Don Draper would do with this font.
I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about character names in Happiest Place or Happiest Season.
Happiest Place Creek.
Happiest Place Creek. I love the character names. I know they're like basic white people names, but they're just left of center enough that I'm like, these are great names.
Harper, Sloan, and Jane are great names.
Harper, Sloan, Jane. Tipper?
Nope, bad name.
Disagreed. Tipper's great.
No. If your name, because nobody names their child Tipper, right? Like it's a nickname for something. I don't know what.
Right.
But if your name is Tipper, you're a
well,
you suck.
Mary Steenburgen exclusively plays mom.
No, she doesn't.
Who just discovered Instagram.
No, she doesn't. Have you watched Elf?
I have seen Elf.
She believes in him.
She does believe in him. I'm excited to see her at Christmas time again.
Yeah, it was great. Tipper's a name that sucks. But Sloan, Harper, and Jane are great girl names.
How often do you find yourself on the side of TikTok that's like, every Hallmark movie is this?
Frequently.
How many Hallmark movies have you actually seen in this lifetime?
Dozens. Hundreds.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I've seen 0.
Yeah, I've seen a lot. Hallmark movies, Hallmark Christmas movies, Lifetime Christmas movies, sort of the same thing.
They all follow the
and let's be real, Hallmark doesn't really make movies anymore. They just sell them to Netflix.
No, they still make movies. They make like 25 a year.
Sure, and a lot of them they sell to Netflix.
Netflix has a certain aesthetic that they go for.
Right, so does Hallmark. Netflix currently, if you look at Netflix Christmas movies, it's like B-side Hallmark movies. Mm-hmm. They're terrible. The Princess Switched 3 switched again.
The fact of the matter, I want to watch one of these Hallmark Christmas movies.
Dude, they're garbage, but you will, like, they feel like a glass of red wine.
See,
like, you will cry, and but the whole time you'd be like, this is so stupid. And then at the end, something happens, right? Like, the girl leaves her big city advertising job and falls in love with the woodworker from Vermont, and they start making, homemade candles together, and you're like, it's so beautiful the way they do the candles together. I can't.
I think a lot of times we forget that white people have their own culture and we just want to make fun of it or say that like white people lack culture entirely. Then you watch one of those Hallmark movies and man, it gets you every time.
Sure, yeah.
Because how great would it be to move to Vermont and make hand-dipped candles?
Dude, it'd be great to make anything.
You think?
Yeah, I think so. To be like an artisan.
To be like, these are my hand-dipped candles.
Right, like in freaking Parks and Rec. When Ron Swanson's like, I make 6 chairs a year. I'm like, that sounds awesome.
Are you saying we should watch more movies with Nick Offerman? Because last week we did it and I was delighted.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Offerman's great. Okay. He's not in a whole ton of stuff.
No, yeah, because he's busy being like a great person.
Right, and he was Ron Swanson for 7 years.
Right.
It'd be great to move to Vermont and make anything. Anything out of wood, leather, wax, anything. Metal. Like when Sean Gervin in college was like, I want to become a blacksmith. I was like, that's so cool, man. You do that.
I think that's what he ended up doing.
He did. Yeah, he just did it. He just does it. He just like makes blacksmith stuff. And I'm like, man, I couldn't make this pewter cup that Tyler didn't win.
Wow. You just got to bring the pewter cup in.
I found it the other day.
You jerk. It's always about the pewter cup. It all comes back to that.
It's always about the pewter cup.
The pewter cup, I think about it every day. That's not true. I rarely think about it until it comes up and then I'm like, this was such an injustice.
So anyway, I want to justify my score here for a minute. I gave this a 60 because I don't like watching movies like this. Any of these like everything gets horrible and awkward and they fight and somebody breaks a painting over to somebody's head Christmas movies. I'm so over those. There's so many of them and like I just am over the whole thing. I will watch Christmas Vacation just because I do think it's an exceptionally funny movie out of that batch of movies.
So bad. That is my no nuance November. Christmas Vacation isn't good now. It never was.
It is still good, and it always was good. It is just an uncomfortable form of humor that hasn't aged particularly well. It's not any different than The Office.
Where do you land on like Home Alone? Like watching a kid beat the crap out of two grown
Never
men.
liked those movies. I've never enjoyed them.
Yeah, me neither.
So I didn't watch a lot of the Christmas movies that like kids our age watched. I
Like
would say,
what?
like I wasn't very much exposed to the Home Alone movies. I wasn't really exposed to the Santa Claus movies.
Santa Claus movies ended up being a cult classic I did not expect.
Yeah, people love those movies. I do not. I've seen them as an adult, and I was like, this is not great. I don't love this the way I love other movies.
I think that's an entirely nostalgia factor thing. I actually do like the Santa Claus movies, though. I love anything that involves the Santa myth. I'm a sucker for it.
I usually am too. I think that the Santa Claus with Tim Allen is my least favorite piece of the Santa myth. My least favorite sort of, and it's not necessarily nostalgia because like I will find a new Christmas movie almost every year that I adore.
Because it's become such an industry, right? Like Hallmark puts out 25 of them.
It's spaghetti. It's just wall spaghetti, right?
Right. We'll just keep throwing stuff at it and see what sticks. And this one, I think, will stick for the LGBT community. If nothing else, as like there was this perfectly bad movie that had accessible LGBT characters and had this message of acceptance. And I understand Vinny's response being like, family trumps all is not, that's a garbage ending.
I agree.
I mean, I don't think it's a garbage ending, but I also have a very exceptionally good relationship with my family.
There's so many movies made about family at Christmas at this point. It's like the rest of us deserve something.
But that's what the thing is that Christmas is like a lot of people will tell you that Christmas is about family.
Right, and I'm very tired of it.
I just don't think you can argue that point though, that like that's what people believe Christmas is about.
Right, but that takes Christmas away from a lot of people.
So let me ask you this question. Am I just straight and this is my own straight glasses coloring this, or were Harper and Abby exceptionally physical every time they were alone?
Yeah, I mean that's just
I honestly
I think that's your straight glasses because it's the same way in every straight movie, especially Christmas movies.
I guess it's because in straight movies and a lot of gay movies now.
Well, they find different reasons in Christmas movies for the boyfriend and the girlfriend or the husband and the wife to sleep in different beds at Christmas, right? There's always reasons like this.
Right. It's like, well,
grandmother doesn't want us sleeping in the same bed together, and then when they do finally get in the same room, they're like, oh, let's
let's get physical.
It is more in this movie outside of your experience, and therefore it seems like it comes up more. But I wasn't noticing of it particularly any more than any other.
I wasn't
romantic
bothered
Christmas
by
movie.
it, but I did notice it. And I guess when you think about Christmas Vacation, like I'm not bothered by it. I thought it was an interesting directorial decision, but I also was like, this is very much my own prejudice coloring this feeling, and I'm recognizing this, and I'm just gonna get over it. Because then I think about Christmas Vacation when there's like an entire scene dedicated to it, and then like a meme made into the entire series of Chevy Chase like fantasizing about cheating on his wife, which I think is significantly worse.
Yes.
Like this first thing isn't a bad thing. Chevy Chase cheating on his wife is a bad thing.
The fact about it is that the couples engaging in physical intimacy gives them a very good opportunity to be caught engaging in physical intimacy, right?
Right.
Because it's real hard to explain why you're both naked.
Right. But then Allison Brie Sloane catches on. She's like, doesn't Harper live in a 1-bedroom apartment?
And she catches on almost immediately.
And Kristen Stewart's like, I sleep in the pantry.
And the thing is the funniest line in this movie is when she calls up John and she's like, yeah, they think that I'm her roommate. And he's like, have they never seen a lesbian?
Is Kristen Stewart gay in real life?
I have no idea. I will say she is definitely taking on more of these roles.
It's none of my business.
I think Kristen Stewart has led a particularly it's none of your business life. I know very little about Kristen Stewart.
I was watching this movie with my mother-in-law and my wife, and my mother-in-law, as soon as Kristen Stewart gets on screen, goes, I hate Kristen Stewart. And I was like, you do? And I was like, she's doing fine in this film.
She's phenomenal.
Well, I don't think anyone, let me be clear, nobody in this is phenomenal. Everybody.
No, but she's a phenomenal, just human actress.
Tell me more about this. Other than like, was Bella in Twilight?
So I'm not basing this on Twilight at all. There was nothing to work with in that script for either of them. Pattinson turned out to be a phenomenal actor, and then she kind of just went quiet for a while. I watched the Charlie's Angels movie. She was really good in that. I loved her. The first movie that I ever saw her in was Adventureland with freaking Jesse Eisenberg. Fantastic movie.
Really?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, it's a bad movie. She's good in it, though. She has the worst RBF of all time, and people do not like that about her. Like, she doesn't naturally smile a lot, and that intimidates people. That scares people.
Right.
God, did you see the video on TikTok of the Australian female comedian, that was like, I have resting face, but only women can have resting face. Men just have very important thoughts that you can't interrupt them having. And I was like, damn, I feel seen and called out.
We treat women with such disrespect.
For
we
sure.
As a society, not a fan of it. And I think we need to come around on that.
Because like I have resting bitch face.
I would say that you do.
I do.
I'd say that to your face.
Yeah, no, I know it. I mean, because I take self-portraits a lot. And I'll be like, if there's not somebody on the other end of the camera making me laugh, I look pissed in a photo.
Speaking of Adventureland, I have a review from Richard Probst on September 1st, 2020 from the independentcritic.com. And he says, Adventureland is a fine film. 3.5 out of 4.
Adventureland is a fine film. This is like truly it, because this is better than a Hallmark movie, right? Like this is better than your average Hallmark movie. It's better than I would expect from a Hulu original streaming movie, right? This is a proper Fox 2000 mid-budget Christmas movie.
Yeah, so I think your concern that Fox 2000 going away means mid-budget movies end. The answer to that is Netflix and Hulu will make them. Also,
Which
I
we
have
have
a really
entirely, we have. It's the damn only good thing to come from coronavirus is that movie studios are switching to home release markets again, right?
Yes.
Like direct to DVD is back. In a big way, in a way that has never been seen before.
Well, it's not even DVD. It's like direct to streaming.
Yes, I know it's not direct to DVD. It's just the phrase. It's part of the thing. It's the lexicon of it.
I know it's the lexicon of it, but like the fact that it's direct to streaming is like I don't even have to go to the Redbox to see Happiest Season.
No, it's like, yeah, this is incredible because you told me, I saw it in Discord, I saw it on Twitter. You told me like, hey, we should watch Happiest Season. I was just like, okay, cool. I have seen things about this movie. I'll see it, and it's just there, right? It's just there. Now it's Hulu. Less people have a Hulu subscription than pretty much anything else, but
so my reasoning on Hulu, because I know that like a lot of the success of this show hinges on the box office success of the movie that we review, because the more people that have seen it, the more people will naturally click on it. I know there are plenty of you diehard listeners who will listen to us talk about anything, which we appreciate. Hello, I'm talking to you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, it's so much easier of a sell though when you can be like, okay, American listeners at least, this is on Netflix. Because everybody has Netflix.
Everybody has Netflix. And the reason I was okay with Hulu is because Hulu comes free, I think, with either Disney Plus or Spotify. One of the two.
Both.
There's some deal.
It's both. It's definitely both.
Where you can get all of the above for like a discount.
Right, because Hulu sucks. The Hulu catalog is weak compared to everything else. It still is.
It has commercials.
It has ads, stuff. And even in its infancy, HBO Max has a much better catalog than Hulu does. It is twice as much, has a much better catalog.
I'm going to get HBO Max.
It's good. It's got a lot of good stuff.
Mostly because of Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
It's going to be my big sell. Christmas Day, I'm going to watch Wonder Woman and Soul, and it's going to be a nice day.
Should we do a double episode week?
No, because you're taking the following week off.
Yeah.
So honestly, we won't even get to review either of those.
I forgot about Soul.
We
can reconvene for an episode on Soul. I forgot about Soul. We'll talk.
Then you have to edit it. Soul's big. No, I really thought this was I won't say fantastic film. This is a rare situation where I finished a movie and I wasn't like, that's my favorite movie. But it's
Return of the Jedi, right? Like if you said this is your least favorite movie, I'd be like, that's kind of homophobic. And if you said this is your favorite movie ever, I'd be kind of like, okay, I mean, sure.
Are you saying C-3PO's gay? 3PO! Are you saying 3PO's gay?
No,
what I was trying to say.
I'm saying that like what I talked about on our episode of the Mondaylorian, where I was like, if the Return of the Jedi is your least favorite Star Wars movie, you just hate Return of the Jedi to hate Return of the Jedi, right? Like
I think there's a certain level of nuance. Return of the Jedi has power, right? It is this sort of indie thing. I don't even know what to compare it to, where you sit down with a group of people and they say, "Oh, Return of the Jedi is the best in the series," "Oh, Return of the Jedi is the worst of the series." There's a certain level of implied nuance that comes with that statement of like, I've really thought about it. I don't think that the original trilogy is good just because we treat it with reverence, and I think Return of the Jedi gets away with too much. Or flip side, I think the comical nature and the lightheartedness of Return of the Jedi as not a penultimate, but as a finale is
a denouement.
A denouement is valuable in ways that you don't see in other films. You don't get that in Endgame. You don't get that in and it is a denouement. I don't even know what that is. That's a new phrase for me. I'm guessing that means finale.
Yeah.
It's a finale in ways that you don't get in other series, and I think for that reason it makes it the best in the saga. How do I love Star Wars without the stakes of Empire Strikes Back and A New Hope? And to that, I respond and say, I don't think you've watched Empire or A New Hope, because they both have pretty low stakes. I mean, I know they blow up a Death Star, but like there's like an entire Nazi speech and 7 planets get blown up in
I think about the speech in Force Awakens. Every day. It is one of the truly great moments in blockbuster filmmaking, because they let J.J. Abrams stick a camera 13 centimeters away from
Domhnall Gleeson.
From Domhnall Gleeson's face, and stuck him, and you can hear like space birds chirping and stuff. It's a full-on Wes Anderson scene in the middle of Star Wars.
It's a fantastic scene.
Like, they could have legitimately replaced him with Edward Norton for one scene, and I wouldn't have noticed.
Imagine they just did like Wes Anderson casting for the whole thing, where like all of a sudden it's not Ray, that's Owen Wilson. That's not Han Solo, that's Bill Murray. That's not Poe Dameron, that's Luke
I've been watching
Wilson.
some Wes Anderson movies recently, been catching back up on old Wes. The dude's phenomenal.
So good.
It's got some diversity issues he needs to rectify pretty quick. Yeah, some huge diversity issues in his casting.
How many casts do you know feature live foxes? That's what I want to know.
Oh, that one does not include a live fox. It includes a claymation fox voiced by George Clooney.
I've actually never seen that one, but it's like 90 minutes, so it's a prime feature for Bacon and Eggs.
It's one of my least favorite Wes Anderson movies.
Okay, but that Fantastic Mr. Fox also carries a certain nuance when you sit down and talk to really douchey film people, and they're like, "What's your favorite Wes Anderson?"
The thing is if you like Wes Anderson movies, you can talk to douchey film people, and they'll respect you.
Right.
Like, there's definitely if you're like my favorite movie is Fantastic Mr. Fox, you just think you're better than everybody.
Right.
And that's fine. You can think that.
So your favorite movie is Fantastic Mr. Fox.
It's not even my favorite Wes Anderson movie. It's not my top 5 Wes Anderson movies.
I don't know that I've seen 5. I also haven't seen.
It's
Fantastic
not my
Mr. Fox.
favorite claymation Wes Anderson movie.
You like Isle of Dogs?
Yeah.
The further I get from seeing Isle of Dogs, the more I'm like, yeah, it was okay.
It was exceptional. It's not Grand Budapest Hotel.
Tackles quarantine, right?
Yeah, it does. Which, if you never watched Grand Budapest, you should. It is a.
I've Grand Budapest. It's been covered on the show, so it's essentially outside of my necessary watching entirely. Because you covered it with Eneth when my
I did. But it is on Netflix, and it is
Sincerely Us. Check out this preview for Sincerely Us. Brand new preview for Sincerely Us right here.
Hi, I'm Eni.
And I'm Becca.
And we host the casual musical theater podcast, Sincerely Us.
We break down all the themes, motifs, and plot lines of your favorite musicals while also having fun and sharing our love for the craft.
We cover new shows, old shows, popular shows, and everything in between.
Everything from Hamilton all the way back to She Loves Me and beyond.
We keep things light, explain in detail, and try to make the topic of musical theater accessible to everyone.
So whether you've been into theater your entire life
or have just gotten into it after seeing Hamilton,
this is the show for you.
With new episodes every Wednesday on WBNE.org or wherever you get your podcasts. And now on Spotify.
It is like Wes Anderson's like, I know he's made movies since then and will continue to make movies since then, but it definitely was like him being like, okay, but this is the movie. Right? Like, this is my submission to the Lifetime Achievement Award.
I get that vibe when it is on near me, that is the case. Enough about Wes Anderson, though. Let's go much lower stakes. Talk to me more about Happiest Season, written by Clea Duvall.
Dude, it's just fine. It's a fine movie. It's a 6 out of 10. It's a comfy 6 out of 10.
How much do you feel for Jane?
A lot.
Jane is the tragedy this movie wants you to forget. She's spent 100 hours on a fantastic painting.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
I felt like Jane for a long time because my family never knew how to engage with the things I did.
I feel that same way.
Like, where I would do music and stuff, and it's all very ethereal and ephemeral, and it requires a lot of explanation. And now it's like, and I do podcasts, right? And that requires even more explanation.
Doing podcasts, explaining podcasts to somebody who does not exist in the greater podcasting community of I've listened to Serial or My Favorite Murder or what's another big Joe Rogan even. For somebody who's never listened to a podcast, do you know how hard it is to explain podcasting to people? It's impossible. What is it? Do you remember radio shows? Yes. When can I listen to it? Not like that.
Like, my grandmother, God love her, has never listened to a single episode of Bacon and Egg. But she will, like, text me once every 2 weeks and be like, I just love this photo book you made.
Oh, that's sweet.
Because it's just, like, it's something they can interface with and hold in their hands and look at. And that has definitely been part of the like, desire for me with photography is it's just been something that it's like easily explainable, right?
Right.
And be like, I take pretty pictures. We're like, oh, show me. And I can pull out my phone and be like, this is what I'm proud of, and this is what I'm proud of, and this is what I'm proud of.
Because you probably run into the same problem with the even if you were like, do you have a CD player? Or even if you pulled it up on Spotify and you were like, yeah, this is my band.
They're like, oh,
it's
cool.
like, but it's also like, I found even as your best friend, you'd be like, this is my band. I would be like, okay, but what part of it is you?
Right.
And that's like, even like, I'm friends with so many musicians and I have such an appreciation for musicians. But when you hear something as complete as a Drop the Girl song, it is very hard to be like, you did this? And it's not that I don't believe that you have the capability or anything. Yeah. It's just like, I don't even know what set of skills you developed while I wasn't looking that led you to this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And I know that you did it, and I'm extremely proud of Drop the Girl. I'm Drop the Girl's #1 fan.
Yeah, and it's easier to even to point to stuff that I did with like American Train Collective and be like, this is a song I wrote and played on guitar and sang. Here you go.
That's my voice.
That's my voice right here. It's not great, but you can love it.
I think that's the other challenge with music is like, if you're not the voice, it is very hard to be like, yeah, this is my band.
This is my band. Somebody else sings. Yeah.
Right. Oh, who's singing? His name's Michael. Like,
he's like a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
We're buds.
And then because your band has multiple guitars, do you find yourself being like, well, no, that part's not, but that one is.
I don't usually get that. I mean, I'll do that with like Kate. And she'll be like, okay, which part did you write? Which part did you do? She'll sit there. We'll sit there in the car and pick it apart. But like, for the most part, it's just like, I'll be like, yeah, this is my song. Do what you will with it. Like, it's not for you.
Right. Which one's your song?
On what?
On Happy Again.
They're all my songs.
You wrote, which one did you write the words and guitar licks for? I guess you wrote the guitar parts for all of them.
Yeah.
Which ones did you write the words for?
I mean, it's like a team effort.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll tell you, Drop the Girl, if you listen or have not listened, it's an excellent pop punk band. So a la, like, honestly, like Fall Out Boy. Like, if you like Fall Out Boy, you'll like this. If you listen to the Punkless Pop albums, it's very similar to that. If you haven't listened to Drop the Girl, you should right now.
So here was this story with. So I didn't write any of the words for Survivor's Guild. I joined the band like after the songs were written, but I did make new guitar parts for it.
That's cool.
I did get to record the album. Like we did the whole thing, and a lot of like the I played lead guitar, and a lot of that just gets done in the studio. It's like I can go in with a pretty good idea what I'm going to do. At the end of the day, like it's the last thing to go on top of everything else. So it's got to really fit. It's really got to fit in the gears.
Right.
And it's got to match. The harmonies change. The whole thing changes. Sometimes the chord structure changes, and like the leads that I wrote won't work anymore, and we'll have to retool them. We'll have to redo them and everything. That's a very on the fly decision. I mean, I pretty much wrote Burn After Reading. The rest of them, Michael did the original cut of the lyrics for because he was writing those while I was. It was like he wrote that in like November 2019 or 2018 when I was in no place to be writing song lyrics.
Right.
And so I very much came to that, and it was definitely a little bit of like, I like this, I don't like this. And so like not a lot of the words on that are mine, but they are our words. Like there was nothing I fought him on.
Right.
And I haven't done a whole ton of songwriting, like lyric songwriting. I would not say it's my forte. I would like it to be. I would love to put out, and I have been casually working on solo music. It's something I very much want to do and achieve, like, you know, capital G goals in this life.
Is that like Ethan puts out a record that he recorded on a jukebox and it doesn't sell, just 3 records?
I mean, that would be rad. And there's definitely part of me that would love to do the Mountain Goats thing and just like, write an album in a week and then record it on a tape on a boombox and have it like mastered by somebody and just put it out on tapes. I would love to do that. But I would also like to do like, you know, an actually polished project. That is my stuff.
I think artists in general put a lot of pressure on themselves to be completely original. And this is, I'm going to tie it back to the film. Jane didn't invent the thing that she was painting.
No.
She was painting something that she was probably a picture that she took, right?
Yeah.
And then she was painting that. And I think
I don't think she probably stood in the street with an easel. That those days are kind of gone.
For 100 hours.
Yeah, for 100 hours.
Yeah.
Now that stuff still happens for sure.
But even still, you're painting something you look at. You're not inventing the architecture. You're not.
No.
And I think this was like when I was in music school or more music school, I was pretty down with the idea of like, okay, we have to learn music theory first. But like in high school, in like jazz band, I would be like, why do I need to know what scales I'm supposed to play during the solo section? Isn't it jazz? And I think you don't have to invent the architecture.
No.
Is the message I want to send here. Is like, you can build off of what already exists. In fact, that's probably how you're going to succeed.
Yeah.
And I know that if you invent the architecture, you will be remembered like Da Vinci. Okay. You know Da Vinci's name for a reason, and it's not. LeBron James didn't invent how to shoot a free throw.
No,
he just mastered it.
Yeah,
I don't know what LeBron James is particularly good at.
I will say this: this was a very interesting experience for me. When I was in India, we had our first stop. We were at this university in like a suburb of Calcutta.
Yeah.
And we were there for like 5 days and had to play one of those 5 days.
Okay.
And we spent the rest of this time kind of hanging out with this Australian muralist named James.
I love James.
Who was like there to write, or to his job there was to paint a mural on a wall in that 5 days.
Did India pay him to do this, or like
the university did?
Okay.
It was there for their whole like cultural festival thing.
Okay.
And so he took this bright orange wall and painted this huge mural on it. And like I watched this dude do that, like from photo to sketchbook to outline to paint on wall outline to like doing everything on it.
Does it ever frustrate you how fast he did that when you're like, all I need to do is paint the walls in this room? It's going to take me a week and a half.
No part of it was frustrating because he was Australian, so he was the chillest dude ever.
They are super chill.
And you could just ask him any questions you wanted to. And the way the dude thought about stuff is just so fascinating. And he like is a traveling muralist. Like that's his job. He just goes around the world and paints murals.
Is he able to pay his monthly life insurance?
Yeah.
Is my question.
Yeah, he seemed pretty damn happy.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he probably owns, a mansion. I don't think he's the next Ansel Adams or the next Da Vinci, but that dude seemed pretty happy living his lifestyle.
Here's, I guess, the permission I want to give. You don't have to be the next Da Vinci.
Correct,
to make something great.
Yeah. I mean, I put out a photo book earlier this year that I got over 20 people that messaged me back being like, yeah, this made me cry.
Yeah, I think about your photo book a lot because it also tells a story. I think we will remember all of 2020 as your photo book. I really genuinely do. I think 5 years from now, we'll look back and I think our memory will be that short and be like, this is what the whole year was like.
This is what the whole year was like, even though in reality that was 1 week in April.
Yeah, I mean, it was nothing. Everybody was that in.
Yeah, it was the 16th through the 23rd that I took those pictures.
We will look back and we will say, I stayed in my house the whole year, as though we didn't go to Target every week.
Right.
And we'll talk about there was empty parking lots for months and months. No, there wasn't. And I think your book is important to remember now of this is the level of effort we should be giving this. And it's worn on us so much of quarantine, of don't go out, of wear your mask, of the whole thing, of appreciate your frontline workers. We should never stop appreciating frontline workers, ever. But it's worn on us so much that it's become I just want it to be over.
I will say this, the idea of the mask has infected my mind like no other temporary situation ever has.
Tell me more.
So if I say, I'm trying to think of a good way to frame this, right? Because you get in temporary situations all the time. You live in an apartment maybe for a year or whatever, right?
Right.
And you adapt to living in that apartment, but then
in that apartment every month on the 1st you have to change the air filter.
What?
That was when I lived in my townhouse. Every month on the 1st, our landlord would text us and be like, rent's due, also change the air filter.
Wild.
Yeah.
But the mask is such a part of my brain space now that I was watching the Benedict Cumberbatch Grinch, the animated Grinch movie, and he walks into a convenience store. The Grinch walks into a grocery store without a mask on, and I was like, that
How
that
dare
stupid anti-mask
yeah,
walks into a grocery store like that. How does he not even think about people? And it's it's just the immediate gut reaction of what? He's not wearing a mask. What is wrong with this dude?
That was my reaction watching these movies. They go into Fratty's, the bar, with
anytime
Jake
anybody
McDermott
goes into
from
anywhere
Greek.
in any piece of
And they don't wear a mask in the whole movie. Wasn't even on set.
Now which is crazy because this was filmed during quarantine.
Yeah. So actually it wrapped in February of 2020.
Did it really?
So they wouldn't have even known.
Man, talk about getting this one in under the wire for it to then be hugely successful.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, okay, well, this will be because I guarantee you this was slated for release, regular release. I don't think Hulu made this movie.
No, I don't think so either. I think
Hulu bought this movie.
I think Hulu made. I think
Netflix does this all the time. They just put out that Kodachrome movie I was talking about. They came out 2007 or not 2007, 2017 at Toronto International, and then Netflix was like, this is a Netflix original.
That happened. You remember one time when we were doing the hash browns as a past the hash browns, I'm going to ask you to watch this. You asked me to watch this sort of a segment. White Gold was a show on the BBC.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's a Netflix original. And people were like, no, Tyler, it wasn't.
So Netflix does this all the time. Netflix has been doing this with TV shows where they will buy it and add a season. They did this with Arrested Development 15 years later.
With White Gold.
Yeah. But they will continue the show. They'll buy the show and then be like, no, this didn't need to die. But yeah, so you don't need to be Da Vinci to create something great. Just do something that makes you happy. Don't burn yourself out on creative projects because you feel like they need to be perfect. Done is better than perfect almost every time.
Yeah. Perfect doesn't exist. Okay. Done is where the artistry exists. So many people believe the artistry is between the panels. This is Scott Nicewander is between the brush strokes.
I want to look down the lens real quick at any budding artist, especially visual artist. The thing that I have learned, you're never gonna be happy with it.
Well, Ethan's never gonna be happy with it. If you submit it, he will find a flaw.
No. You're gonna look at your picture and be like, even after it's printed, right? Because I firmly believe, and I take this aspect with everything I do with photography, is just hit the upload button, hit the print button, hit whatever button. It's the same thing I do with podcasting. And I'll go later and be like, man, I really just missed a little dust spot on that film scan. Could have done that a little bit better if I just poured more time into it. And I get down that track of well, then I can, I try not to edit a picture for more than a certain amount of time, right? Unless I'm actually editing a picture and building something out of nothing, doing design work. But if it's just a photo I'm posting on Instagram, I try not to really edit that for more than 5 minutes.
So you did design work today where you misspelled the word featured.
I did misspell the word featured. Photoshop doesn't have a freaking
underline it in
underline
red.
it thing.
Oh, it's so funny.
I've done it before too, where I've printed something and they'll be like, hey, this looks great, but you misspelled the.
So you uploaded it to Drive, and then I uploaded it to Facebook and Discord.
And then realized there was a typo.
And then my wife calls me from across the hall, and she's like, because we work from home, and she's like, Tyler, there's a typo in the thing you just posted. And I was like, well, that's as much on me as it is on Ethan.
Yeah. Yeah, at first, because you were like, you made a typo and featured, and I was like, I went to my computer to go like fix it, and I saw you'd already posted it everywhere, and then like, whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, it wasn't like we were posting like an announcement for a new show, which, by the way, if you're thinking about starting a podcast or you have a podcast and you're like, man, it'd be nice to join a network or maybe have somebody edit it, you can so join WBNE. We would love to have you. We're looking at adding, maybe doubling our number by the end of the year.
Also, if you've already submitted to us, we are taking submissions very seriously. We are working on them.
Deliberating.
Yes. February, or not February. November's been crazy enough that I just called it February.
Our goal is to have shows added to the network with episodes coming out on January 1st.
Yes, so we will be back to you very shortly.
Yes, we have not forgotten about you. But if you have an idea for a show, or if you have a podcast, ideally, if you have a podcast, but truthfully, if you have anything, we're excited to help you make your dreams of podcasting become a reality, whether that be with us or just finding a way for us to support you in that dream.
And if you're sitting here saying, man, I've got a few extra bucks a week and I need my podcast edited, call me.
Even if it's just an a la carte, like I just need it this week.
Yeah, I just need it this week. I'll do that. Also, go to ethanedgehill.com, buy my prints. You missed the sale, but we might be able to cook up a deal. Hit me up. Bang my line.
Who sponsored Late to the Party last week?
Tip of the Diceberg.
Tip of the Diceberg. While we're shouting stuff out, check out Tip of the Diceberg on Instagram.
Check out Tip of the Diceberg. It is a dice company that was made and founded by members of the Bacon and Eggs community. Now, they did not meet because of being Bacon and Eggs community, nor do I think they created dice because of the Bacon and Eggs community, but they are community members, and we're very proud of them for making
just excited
dice.
about it existing.
Excited for them to exist.
I also just love Jess and Ben.
Same.
And want to support them in all endeavors.
For sure. Also, their dice are mad cool. They're doing like rose gold leaf dice.
Yeah, extremely.
That was extremely cool.
And they do the you know how some dice are like sort of rounded and some dice are sort of sharp. They do some of the sharp edged ones as well, which I'm a big fan
Dice
of.
for all seasons.
Dice for
yeah, so
all.
check out Tip of the Diceberg on Instagram. I think is where they're primarily running this thing out of for right now. Go to ethanedgehill.com or darkroom or edgehillphotos.darkroom.tech to buy prints. Go to do whatever Tyler wants you to do for his stuff.
I'm not going to ask much of you. Go to patreon.com/popcornculture.
Popcorn culture. The one thing you don't work on.
Get your person card. I know that's the one project WBNE's not involved with. I'm not involved with.
I'm heavily involved with.
Ethan is heavily involved.
I've edited 51 of Popcorn Culture episodes.
Go to patreon.com/supercarlinbrothers and sign up for the Quizmaster tier to get your question entered into the Quizmaster question of the game. That's my job. I'm the Quizmaster. I want to talk about this film. There is a line where Dan Levy calls and he says, "I was too harsh on you before, and I want to listen to you." And this is not just an LGBT thing. This is what friends should be doing for friends. This is Dan's character in this movie, John, has so many excellent lines and so many excellent moments. He carries the film in ways that I think a lot of other characters don't. We need to be telling our platonic best friends, I care about you, I care about your problems, and I want to hear what's happening, and I want to help. I want to provide valuable, constructive advice, or I just want to listen to what's going on.
Right.
I want you to feel comfortable opening up to me. And this is something I found very valuable in my life. Mary Clay today asked us what she was interested in, which she's one of my best friends in the entire world. That is like, I know that she was just asking probably just to be silly, but that is like I was thinking about like, could I ask anybody that question? Could I ask anybody to assess my hobbies?
I would get so many different answers.
I think I would.
Like, I have different sets of people that interact with me for different reasons.
Are you a different person to all those people?
No, I don't think so. I think that I am a man of not many faces. Like, many faces sounds wrong. You know what I'm saying? But like, I'm not going to talk to my podcast friends about the intricacies of the inner workings of 1950s Rolleiflex cameras. The same way that I'm not going to talk to the people who listen to Drop the Girl about Happiest Season.
I think you'd find a lot of people who listen to Drop the Girl have seen Happiest Season.
Sure, but that's not really where the thing lines up. And like, that is definitely, I don't get a lot of growth on the old Twitter box these days, because I tweet about a lot of different things, and I will definitely get DMs sometimes and responses from people that are like, hey man, no clue what you're talking about here. Like I pointed out a scene earlier today in episode 3 of The Queen's Gambit where they super exaggerated the shutter sound of a really old camera, and I was like, hey, this is a super exaggerated shutter sound. And I had one of my friends text me and be like, fucking right.
Here's the
and
thing,
everybody
Ethan.
else on Twitter was like, yeah, totally, guys.
As somebody who knows that cameras work, I have no idea about that camera, but I know that cameras work, and I know they take pictures, and I also know films make moving pictures. You honestly mean to tell me that you are more knowledgeable than the Foley guy that made that movie?
Yeah, because I literally own that camera.
That dude also owns that camera. It's in the movie.
Right, but they didn't record the camera sound.
Well, obviously, they recorded the camera sound, and they were like, well, that's obviously not going to work.
Hang on, I can show you. I can show you what this camera sounds like real quick.
Hold on, I don't even see you on Zoom. There we go. Hi, Ethan.
Hello. I gotta unload this roll of film real quick. It's in it.
Are you going to take a picture of me on Zoom?
No.
Oh.
Bro, the film is expensive. Not worth it.
Wow, I'm not worth it to you.
No,
I
this
hear
Zoom,
you.
this picture of a computer screen on 400 speed film is not worth it.
No, I hear you. It's cool.
Okay.
I am the Ahsoka Tano of your friends.
Remember that time you yelled at me for being a bad friend because I didn't ask you to take family portraits?
Here's the thing, Ethan. I need you to shill your family portraits. I need you to shill your services, because if you don't shill, I'm not going to know to ask.
You can always ask. I don't particularly like doing family portraits that much.
Well, then I'm not going to ask you.
But I want to do them for you. I don't care about them as a business model.
I don't know how to do this. I'm just going to call Maria. She'll do them.
Okay, fine.
She wants to do them.
Sure.
She likes doing them.
I enjoy doing them for you. I don't care about doing it for other people. I like hanging out with you and Emily and Olivia. I like taking pictures of Olivia. She's mad cool.
Who else have you done family portraits for? Tell me, Ethan.
Not that many people.
You did the Millihans.
I did Millihans 2 years in a row.
Real quick, Dan Levy's tracking all of his friends. Is this the future? Do kids give their location to their friends?
You'll have to answer you'll have to ask the I only talk through Instagram DMs crowd.
That's bonkers.
Anyway,
to
really
me.
quick, I want to play you the shutter sound from this camera real quick.
Okay. What did it sound like in the movie?
Click!
Wait, do that again.
Click!
Well, obviously, I mean, if you were to put a microphone into that camera, would it sound like that?
Hang on. I gotta wind it with like a crank.
I saw an episode of MKBHD where he was using one of the original, like...
Hold on.
Yeah, obviously they're not going to use that sound for a movie, Ethan. That sounds boring as hell.
Right, and it was a joke tweet. I think I literally said like, "Oh, I hate it when people nitpick stupid details." Also me, and then I criticized the focusing distance
You did.
because he was real close to her, and it says right here, 3 feet.
Do you have to measure that? Do you take like a yardstick everywhere you go?
No, I just focus it. I look in the thing. Although, yeah, you theoretically, the theory there is that you could place a subject, I don't know, 18 feet away, right, and then turn the dial to 18, and it would be in focus.
That's bonkers.
This camera was made by the Soviets in Germany in 1951.
When is Ethan's solo pod camera history?
I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about doing a photography podcast.
Nothing says podcast more like a visual medium, you know?
You'd be surprised how many like analog photography podcasts there are.
I would be. Maybe there's a market for one that appeals to the masses.
Maybe. I don't think I could do a solo pod though, unless it was like journalism.
The truth is, we don't appeal to the masses. One of the things I love about Bacon and Eggs, and I may break your heart telling you this, is our audience. The size that it is, the community that we've developed. I love it. I have very little desire to go traditionally viral.
I mean, yeah, that's fine. Mr. I got a great 40-hour job a week. I love it. I got a career. I don't need this to be more than a side hustle.
My dream, Ethan, is that we can get you zillions of dollars editing other people's podcasts.
I'm working on it. I'm running out of time is the problem.
Well, to get you good enough that you raise your rates.
Hoping to, yeah. Rates are all going up soon.
So
rates on everything.
Listeners, get in. If you're like, man, I need a podcast editor at a reasonable price, Ethan, I'm sure will still be a reasonable price when rates go up. But we'll lock that contract in here before the end of Q4.
Yeah, I definitely have thought about going more traditional photographer route and doing more like photo sessions, like portrait sessions. Maybe doing weddings.
I think it'd be a faster way to 401k income.
Sure, yeah.
Then
the problem is with weddings is that you gotta have wedding experience, and I do not. And now that weddings are happening again, those jobs are hard to come by.
So you can't. I know that this is obviously not what anybody wants to do, but it also makes yourself incredibly marketable. Can you not just call up a wedding photographer and be like, hey, can I be your point C on this wedding? Can I just show up, take pictures, and give them to the bride and groom?
Yeah,
for
no,
you?
I mean, I could theoretically, but like that's the thing is like the jobs are taken.
Like this C point person
Yeah,
is taken?
because those people needed they saw the light before I did.
Right. Well,
I held a call it optimism, call it clinical depression, but I held out longer than I needed to.
I can already see out of context Bacon and Eggs tweeting that one.
But I was like, in the back of my mind, I was like, I can't go back to, I can't do the job that can't work for somebody else, man. Like, I had the thing made. Because I did. Like, I had 2020 sewed up. Done. I knew where every dollar I needed this year was coming from. Sewed up. I won. I won the game. I did the thing that I wanted to do. I turned myself in 1 year. I turned myself from guy who picks up a camera into marketable business person that goes on the road and takes photographs of musicians. I turned that into a job in 1 year, and that job evaporated. And I definitely held on too long to like, it's gonna come back. I swear to God, it's gonna any minute now. Any minute now, it's gonna come back, and I'm gonna be fine. Gonna be totally fine. And in the meantime,
I don't think so.
In the meantime, people bailed ship on that. And we're like, okay, I'm gonna go start doing weddings. And the minute weddings come back, I'm gonna be ready. And I was sitting here like, ha ha.
Okay, so once there's a vaccine, live music will come back. But I don't think this is if I've learned anything from the world of business, it is that every investment is a gamble either way. So you holding on, I don't think was necessarily I don't think you were wrong to do that. Hindsight is always 20/20.
Right, yeah.
So like if we knew in March that this was going to be going on until at least January, then I think you would have been like, oh, obviously I will take jobs otherwise. But it's a gamble. We don't know what the future holds. We don't know. There were projections that said it was, and now hindsight being 20/20, we're like, well, obviously those projections were right. Why weren't you following that? But it's like there were also projections that it was going to be gone by June.
Yeah. So here's the problem with what I did and the way I had everything set up is like I got a bunch of jobs for earlier in the year, and then I booked a bunch of jobs based on the name recognition of the jobs I got earlier in the year. Right.
Right.
And now none of those jobs happened, and I'm sort of back at my end of 2019 resume.
Right.
And everybody else is already established. And when everybody starts emailing these bands again and be like, hey, can I have somebody? I gotta hope that people honor their word. And that's not necessarily. I gotta hope they remember who I am, because a lot of these were for people I didn't know.
Right.
That's the nature with any contract work, is like I gotta hope that they remember who I am.
You are a good enough picture taker that I have no doubt that you will be that if you start taking pictures again, I have no doubt that your name recognition will return.
Right, but it's gonna look so much different.
Well, it's gonna be different for everybody though. Like,
yeah,
everybody's playing on a different playing field.
Right. Yes, for sure. And that's just what I'm saying, is that like it's a lot of ethereal, kind of in the air, like, because at the end of the day, there are gonna be more people opting for the same spots than there were before. Because there will be fewer spots and there will be more people looking for those jobs. And that does not usually end up well for the person without the name recognition. It's the same deal with like, I don't know, nobody wants to hire me to do their elopement or whatever because I don't have wedding experience.
Well, I can tell you from experience, I went to a wedding during the pandemic. I'm ashamed to admit it. The wedding industry pretends there is no pandemic.
And that's the thing, is I'm not 100% willing to be part of that, right? Like, the money isn't worth dying, right? Going to an uncontrolled wedding and dying.
Because like,
and the problem is there's lots of photographers that don't feel that way, right? They'll take the job. Fine. It's a job. It's what I do. Done.
I think here's the challenge, I think, is if wearing a mask protected me, I'd do anything. I'd show up to anywhere. But wearing a mask protecting others.
Everybody else from you.
Right.
And ain't nobody gonna wear a mask at a wedding.
No, why? I mean, I know why you would, but why would you?
Well, at that point, you've already hedged your bets, right? You're there, you're in the room. Fuck it.
Right. You had to eat the meal, so why not dance?
And I'm not willing to be I'm not really willing to sell my soul that way. Not sell my soul, that sounds dumb, but like, it's the money and the name recognition is not worth it. I'll figure out how to make it somewhere else, right? And I have. Shop small business, man. You have no idea how much that is helpful. Not just my small business, everybody's small business. Go to somebody's Etsy store and just fucking buy something.
So Christmas time, I try to buy the bulk of my items. There's some things that you have to go to a big box store for. I won't pretend that I'm not easily drawn in by brands even. Just like I want the shirt with the whale on it, which I didn't ask for any of that this year, but
it's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a minute on that one. But like I won't pretend that I'm not, like, my phone has an apple on it. I'll tell you that. My whiskey has a turkey on it. I'll tell you about that.
Yeah, okay, they don't make iPhones they don't make smartphones on Etsy, right? They don't make locally farm to table smartphones.
Right. But if they did, but like I'm interested in a turn it off phone, like a Medita phone, like something with e-ink that will receive text messages and I have to respond with T9. Yeah. Like I would die for a phone that I could put my SIM card into, and I could take calls and unplug, and that's it.
That was sort of just beside your point of shop small.
And shop small, it makes a huge difference. Even like I work for a mid-sized company, and I notice every order that comes in. Yep. Every single order. And I work at Bacon and Eggs at a very small company, and I definitely notice. It was
very interesting because I put my sunflower prints on sale for the first time on Friday. for Black Friday as well as Saturday and Cyber Monday. And it was definitely like, because I'm selling them at a pretty high markup, right? Like I am selling.
You're not, right? Like, so it's art is so hard to mark up, right? Because
that's the thing, is it's such a hard conversation, right? Because somebody who's established would sell a print like I'm selling for $100,
right?
$200, $500,
right?
I'm not. I'm selling for $20 right now. And you know what? I keep a lot of that. I keep a lot of that.
I don't think there's anything wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong.
No, there's not. But that's what I'm saying is like, if you buy a print from me for $20, that's a lot of money of that I get to keep, right? That's why. And like I started selling through a print on demand service because I have a lot of people that are like, oh, I would totally buy this, and like it's one person that would buy it. And so I'm like, I'm gonna use that service to call your bluff, okay?
Right.
You know, you say, hey, I want to picture this parking garage that you just took. You know, I want this on my wall, and I'd be like, cool, it's on the print shop. If I don't see an order in the next hour, I'm gonna know you're lying.
Right.
But
I don't always necessarily think people are bluffing. I think it's like, I honestly, sometimes I think it's, I would buy this, but the fact that it's unavailable, like, it's not a bluff so much as like,
it's easier to say you'd buy it if you know it's not available for sale.
right.
Yeah.
And so
that's fine.
No, I am 100% the same way. Somebody will release a book and I'll be like, oh, I would totally buy this. And then it comes out and it's $12 and I'm like, $12 is not really in that budget right now. So
I bought author Beth Riegel's Christmas book.
Did you? I entered a giveaway. I
bought it.
Sidebar?
She was on Instagram. She was like, I've got copies, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy a copy.
I think you should support Beth Riegel's any way that you can.
Why haven't we had Beth Riegel's on the podcast yet?
So we're waiting for you to be sick for Beth and I to talk about the kissing booth. Not that I think you wouldn't enjoy it, but that was like, I pitched it to her on TikTok, and I was like, one day Ethan's going to be sick, and you and I will talk about the kissing booth.
But I want to talk to Beth.
I think she listens. So Beth, if you're listening, Christmas is more or less covered, but January, if you want to talk the kissing booth, we can do that.
Or you can come on and talk about a Christmas movie.
Or you can talk about a Christmas movie. I think we're doing next week. We had something lined up for next week with a guest.
We got Danny Vreenan.
I think it's Venon.
Venon.
Danny Venon talking about the 15th anniversary of Chronicles of
Narnia,
which I'm very excited about. I may read the book between now and then because that's a super fast read, and I own it.
I could do that. I think I could ink on paper The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
I think I could. Yeah, I actually. So when Olivia was in the womb, I read Sorcerer's Stone to her and Lion, the Witch, and Wardrobe, and Magician's Nephew.
That's so cool. Such a cool dad.
My new baby in the womb, I've read no books to, but
You're
still have
still a
22
cool
more
dad.
weeks. Thank you.
Olivia's rad.
Olivia's the best freaking
She's such a cool kid
ever. I freaking
I'm
love
so
my
excited for her to start like
so
saying
much.
things and like having thoughts.
Currently, if you're like, Olivia, what sound does a dog make? She goes, oof.
That's so cute. Everything she does is just adorable.
I'm very scared for the indifference that comes from my child who can annoy adults who are not my family. I'm very nervous about that. Because when I go to like family gatherings or extended family gatherings or friend gatherings and there are children present, my whole life I've known that I am good with kids, and I will like make extra special. Like I'm more interested in talking to kids than I am adults most of the time. I
have never once been more interested in talking to kids, even when I was a kid.
Yeah. I love talking to kids. I pushed kids on the swing for like an hour and a half this weekend. I loved it. It was awesome. It was fantastic. I mean, they were my family's kids. Like they weren't strangers.
Yeah.
But, and you know, they talked to me about, in science class, we learned about volcanoes, and like, awesome. What'd you learn about volcanoes? And my niece really loves Emily's Wonder Lab on Netflix, which I think is an amazing show. If you haven't watched it, you should watch it. It's phenomenal. If you have kids, if you don't have kids, you'd probably be like, this is definitely for children. But Emily's Wonder Lab, there's a girl named Emily who
has a Wonder Lab, it sounds like.
Has a Wonder Lab and teaches kids about science, and she's a female creator, and she worked at NASA, and she's an amazing story, and she did it 9 months pregnant, and it's so cool, and I appreciate her so much. She's the space gal on TikTok, if you've ever run into her.
I have.
And she's just fantastic. So I really love, I've always loved talking to children, and adults intimidate me. Like other adults know more sports statistics than I do, and I can't compete with that. They'll be like, what do you think of Jim Harbaugh maybe leaving Michigan? And I'll be like, I would like him to come to Washington, but I really like Ron Rivera, so I don't know what to say.
That is a really annoying thing about talking to you about sports.
What?
Is you can't anymore have a sports conversation without saying some dumb like, oh man, it'd be great if we had him in Washington. It's like, that's not what the conversation's about.
Truthfully, right now, This is a weird problem we have in Washington. Drafting a quarterback is the answer because Alex Smith has a clock on him. But we can't do that.
And clearly the last dude was not the answer, even though you said he was the answer.
I think he's the answer still.
Not the answer.
I think if he can learn from Alex Smith, who can now play, I think he can be the answer. But I truthfully think we have a real chance to maybe not win out, but end the season near 500. We've kind of lost a chance to win it over 500. I mean, we haven't. We could, if we win out, we'll win over 500.
The crazy thing, the Cleveland Browns can't go under 500 this year.
What makes me so mad about the Cleveland Browns is if they win the Super Bowl, there would be an asterisk on it forever.
What,
Despite
if
the
they
fact
win
that
this year? They're not going to win this year.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
No, they will lose to the Steelers in the divisional.
Yeah. What's up?
Nothing.
What were you saying to the tennies?
You'll have to listen back through.
There was one time you and Mary Clay were mean to me.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be. I asked her what my interests were while you were gone. Actually, not while you were gone. A while before you were gone, because we were talking about what are our interests. And I just sent a text message to the group, and she said 3 answers. These are very bacon and eggs answers. Tyler likes Pokemon. This is true. Tyler loves Pokemon. Has for 26 years of his 28-year life.
You're not 28 for 2 more hours.
Tyler likes Weed Whackers.
I think Weed Whackers here is a stand-in my mind for dad stuff.
I do like dad stuff.
Even before you bought a house, or when you bought a house, before you were a dad, you were like, power tools is the thing.
Did you know I have 2 circular saws?
Which, to be fair, power tools are the thing, right?
Power tools are fantastic.
Power tools are awesome. Like they're always like, oh man, you see the Home Depot commercials like, get your dad a Craftsman tool set for Christmas, and I'm like,
get your dad the cheapest tool Milwaukee makes.
Get your
Buy
Ethan a Craftsman tool set for Christmas.
Here's actually, you want to know your dad's ideal Christmas present? This is an underrated gift. You can get it for your dad. You can get it for your sibling who's going off to college. A lot of people don't even know this exists. Electric screwdriver.
Not a drill. Electric screwdriver.
Electric screwdriver. Life-changing product. You can get somebody an electric screwdriver and a hex, like an Allen wrench set of tools of
Where did you just make that noise from? Was that Alexa on your end?
No, my Alexa's downstairs. Although you can see in the back of my frame, that's a Echo 1 right there.
I do not have a echo in this room, but something in this room, when I said electric screwdriver, made the echo noise.
So here's the electric screwdriver. If you get somebody an electric screwdriver and Allen wrench heads for it, they can build everything from IKEA and Walmart and Target. Everything.
I have a Milwaukee ratchet screwdriver that comes with long driver bits. And it's got like 7 of them, and they chamber inside the back of the screwdriver.
To like drill holes?
What? No.
Oh, you said driver bits.
Whatever. The long bits. You know what I mean?
You can't drill holes.
What? No.
Okay.
There's a couple Allens. There's mostly Phillips head and flathead. This is a screwdriver.
Right.
But it's got long things, right? And they stick in the back of the screwdriver handle, and it turns into just a handle, right? I bring that motherfucker everywhere. That thing went to India and back with me. That is the best tool I've ever owned.
So here's the truth. You can get a Milwaukee one if you really want to go above and beyond for your father or college student or whatever it is. If you go to Target and go to their the aisle that has color changing light bulbs, that's where they keep the electric screwdrivers. I'm such a dad right now. I'm in it.
This is not electric. This is just a regular screwdriver.
Oh, yours is a regular
It's just a screwdriver.
Okay. Electric screwdriver. Something that plugs into the wall. It usually doesn't have a removable battery. Just an inexpensive one. It will literally change the way that they install things for the rest of their lives. And it is such a fantastic gift. Ethan's Gift Guide 2020. What is the best gift you can get somebody?
This is, I just do want you to direct you to the Zoom chat. This is the exact screwdriver that I'm referring to. And it is my pride and joy of my screwdriving collection.
Oh, that's a great driver. Yes.
That's what I'm saying. I brought that thing.
It's got in the handle, you can twist that off and you can store these. Is that what I understand?
Yes.
Okay.
So my tripod that I use and also the handle cage that I put around my camera both have a flathead screwdriver attachment. Like
that is absurd. Nothing should have
It is absurd. You're exactly right. But it's how they attach, and I can't change it. I don't have I guess I could theoretically get different attach mechanisms for them, but I haven't. So I just bring a screwdriver with me. It stays in my camera bag, and I have that screwdriver in my camera bag. And I brought it to India and back. I've brought it on tour a couple times. It's the perfect screwdriver. Ethan's number one gift, though, of 2020, go to ethanandchill.com and buy a print. I'll be real with you. A lot of people that I love dearly this year are going to get Ethan Edgehill prints for Christmas because I'm broke, and that's a cool thing to give somebody.
I think it's a great gift.
And I'm broke.
I'm trying to think what gift I'm most proud of. I pour a lot of time and energy into gift buying, and Emily, my wife, pours a lot of, I don't want to say money, that's the wrong word. Emily buys a lot of gifts for people. Typically our family member has 2 gifts, and I think she's going to round it around 12 or 13 gifts from me for Christmas, and then she'll have a different gift for my birthday and a different gift for Christmas, or for our anniversary, which is also in December. So it's she gives thoughtful gifts. I have zero complaints about Emily's gift giving ability. But I'm trying to think. I try to think of high quality, and then if it's in my family, I typically willing to spend probably up to $100 on a present. So you can get pretty high thoughtful and high value.
Caitlin keeps asking me what I want for Christmas and then gets mad at me whenever I ask for something I need.
Here's what you want to tell her. Caitlin, Target has exclusive Pokemon Pro controllers for the Nintendo Switch.
Buy one of them for your old buddy Tyler.
Buy one of them for your old buddy Tyler. There's a bunch of different ones. If there's one that has a Raichu on it, not just Pikachu, but Raichu himself, that's a great gift.
But it's like, I want a pair of open back headphones for podcast editing.
That's a ask right there.
It's not.
Here's what, dear listener, if you're Christmas shopping this weekend, buy a pair of obscenely nice headphones from Mary Clay Watt.
Oh, God. She would get, so if we could crowdfund a pair of QC30s in QC35s in 8 minutes, and she'd be so mad. She won't even ask her family for them. They're like, please tell us what to get you for Christmas. And she's like, but I can't ask for anything nice.
And then her family texts us and is like, if there was an exceptional gift I could get for Mary Clay.
To be fair, Mary Clay's stance on headphones is the most frustrating thing ever. She texts us like once a month and is like, how do I get new headphones? And we're like, here's how you get new headphones. She's like, I don't want any of those. I hate them all for a stupid reason.
You go on MKBHD. He really likes his Sonys. They're extremely comfortable.
What I want is the freaking Markiplier headphones, the open back Sennheisers, but they're $340.
I think you spent $340 on headphones.
I don't have $340.
Me neither. But if I was to spend $340 on something and it was headphones, I would be like,
right. But they are headphones that I would use for editing, but not recording podcasts.
This is a big one. A lot of people that listen to our show are interested in starting their own podcast. You should get a USB microphone if your budget is around $100. We had a question in our Discord today about if you were to buy an XLR mic for $100, which one would you buy? I'd buy the pod mic, but you also have to buy an interface, which is going to be between $100 and $150. So I need to know your actual budget.
Yeah. If you have $100 to spend on a microphone, buy a Blue Yeti.
Yeah.
Or buy a Yeti Nano.
Do not listen to anybody that says the Yeti is for amateurs. The Yeti might be for amateurs who are trying to record like commercial, like animation quality audio. Sure.
Right, yeah. If you're trying to do professional voiceover work.
Right, but if you're trying to do podcasting, your earbuds are a perfectly good microphone.
Right, but if you can afford it, buy a Yeti.
Yeah, I highly recommend a Yeti. It's a wonderful microphone. It's very simple. The little Yetis in the little thing show you how to do the thing.
Yep.
I got a cloud lifter this week. It's not plugged in.
Oh, did you finally get one?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Nice.
This is my birthday gift from my dad.
Nice.
Thanks, John.
Nice. You should plug it in.
I know. I should. It's on my list.
It'll change your life.
I believe
You'll
it.
feel so much more comfy about them levels.
I was extremely excited about it, and my dad was like, "You're not that excited," and I was like, "No, I am."
Dude, I'll tell you, I have a $400 microphone, right? The Shure SM7B retails for $400. If somebody bought me another microphone, I'd be jazzed.
What do you mean? You don't like the Shure SM7B?
No, I love it, but like if somebody was like, here's an Electro Voice RE20, I'd be like, oh man, now I get a choice. Now I can pick. I'm feeling a little more RE20 today.
My dad has an RE20.
I want a mic locker.
This is what I've been saying for years. We should have more equipment than we could ever possibly use.
Sure, I'm starting to come around on it, honestly.
Yeah.
But you want an absurd amount of stuff. You don't want a bunch of microphones. You want a bunch of microphones and 11 laptops and a bug out bag.
This is true. So when the bug out bag is huge, okay? My job is on the road. I should absolutely have a bug out bag. No, this is true. If you're into podcasting, Best Buy had a Black Friday deal for a laptop that had more than 4 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage, which is all you need to start with, for $129. A laptop running Windows 10. Not running Google, running Windows 10.
Yeah.
So you could download Audacity and record a podcast into it for $130.
Yep.
That's insane.
Now, there's nothing worse than the laptop microphone for podcasts.
Yeah, obviously, you have to buy a microphone.
I'm just making sure people know that, like, the laptop microphone, the webcam microphone on your laptop should be your absolute last choice.
So the issue we ran into is when we got into podcasting, we were right at the tail end of people own a laptop or home computer. 2020, people don't own a laptop or home computer. They have their phone.
Maybe an iPad.
They have an iPad. So $129 to get you in the door of something with a USB port that can download Audacity.
That'll run Audacity, yeah.
That's huge. That is such... I was like, how much is available on my Best Buy credit card? How many of these can I buy? And then just give to people.
That being said, I do very much want an Electro Voice RE20. I don't know why, I just do.
It's an awesome microphone.
Sure, yeah, I want a bunch of them.
My dad showed it to me. I was like, this is the coolest thing.
No, what I want is the freaking Justin McElroy microphone, the CAD 1000 ES or whatever it is, because nobody in podcasting sounds better than Justin and Griffin. Nobody.
Did you know that people mix them up?
People mix all of them up. It's because we saw them live first. I think that we never.
I do think we also saw the Crunch special live.
That too. But we were able to sit there at Mabim Bam, and they were like, "I'm your middleest brother, Travis McElroy." And I was like, that's that one.
Yeah.
I'm your sweet baby brother, 30 under 30 media luminary, Griffin McElroy.
I actually have been getting frustrated recently with how long the intro is taking. That's just a personal critique.
The Mabim Bam intro?
Yeah.
If you listen on Spotify, it's 3 clicks.
Yeah?
Like, to get past the theme song?
No, not the theme song, like the bit at the intro.
Oh, I love the bit every time. I'm talking about the theme song and the "What's up, you cool baby." To get to the point where Justin is like, "Welcome back to my brother, whatever he does." I haven't listened to Mabim Bam so long. It's like, "I'm your middleest brother," and if I show for the modern era, I'm your middle or oldest brother, Justin McElroy.
So this is a true story.
That's 3 clicks on Spotify.
I oftentimes say I'm either a Griffin or a Clint, but Justin saying an advice show for the modern era is the most me thing.
You're a Justin. You're 100% a Justin.
I'm not an oldest brother. Justin is definitely better at video games than I am.
Sure, but you're a Justin. You're the daddiest dad who's ever dadded. You
Clint
also
is the daddiest dad who's ever dadded.
What?
Clint is the daddiest dad who's
Okay,
ever
but Clint's
dad.
not one of the 3.
He's one of Trace horny boys.
No one's a Clint. You're a Justin.
I know, but I wish I was a Griffin. That's the problem.
Because Justin,
Anyway,
Justin picked up woodworking during quarantine.
I did not.
No, but that's a thing that you would do.
It is, yeah.
You'd be like, "I'm a woodworker," and then abandon it entirely.
He did not. He's still in it.
Well, he's a better person than you are.
Wow. Okay. Justin McElroy. This is a call out. Are you a better person than me? Okay. So Ethan, it's rap time.
It is rap time.
We hit rap time so much sooner than I expected. The reason we hit rap time so much sooner than I expected is there's truthfully not much to say about Happiest season. It's a fabulous movie. I think the more LGBT films we get, the better.
Right. Again, all ends of the spectrum. Bad ones that aren't written very well. Good ones that are written very well. Medium ones that are medium.
Also, we said it wasn't very good, but Rotten Tomatoes disagrees entirely. 83 and 84 are excellent scores.
Yeah. But also, we said it was a 60 and 65, which I think would both count toward plus.
A 3 out of 5, I think, is a rotten score.
I think it's 59 and below, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know.
I don't know.
And I think this is a worthwhile. And as far as a binary review, I would say this is a 1.
Oh, definitely.
Great thing I love about this one is a lot of the films we review are for film people, but this is a rom-com that
Wouldn't
my
say
wife.
A lot.
Well, not
I wouldn't say a lot. We did how many movies? How many Marvel movies? How many Star Wars movies?
All of them.
Those aren't for film people. Those are for people.
Those are for people, but they're not for my wife. Okay, and this movie was for my wife, and she loved it. She thought it was fantastic. I cried watching it big time.
I didn't
like
cry.
a babe. I was red wine.
I did not cry.
Drinking.
I was
drinking red wine during it, so I think that's why. Do you have the audience score compiled, Ethan?
I do. I gotta do the math real quick. I forgot to do the math. I did everything but do the math.
Fewer audience scores than normal. If you'd like to submit your audience score, there's 2 ways to do it. You can get your listener review, like your quip included if you're a member of the Patreon. The Discord server is where everything happens. I cannot undersell this enough. Everything from our Patreon feeds out of the Discord server more than anything. So if you want to support us, but you're not interested in being a part of Discord, that's totally fine. We'll gladly accept your support, but that is where a lot of the prompts to interact with the show exist, and I'll just tell you that now to give you a reasonable expectation of what is to come. Discord, if you're unfamiliar with it, is a chat room service. It was originally developed for gamers, but now it is pretty widely used to help manage communities. It is a great opportunity to interact with other fans of this show, as well as fans of anybody from WBNE, and that is where we aggregate the quips for the listener reviews, where we got Vinny's review this week, where we got Pix's review this week, and we'd love to have some more voices in there as well. We'd love to hear what listeners have to say. If you want to write a full review for films and you want us to pull a quip from it, we're happy to do that as well as promote your full review. We're super happy to promote anybody who is getting started in the film review sector.
Hey T, I've been meaning to run something by you on this conversation. Actually, I think that we should start a subreddit.
We actually have a subreddit, and I am the moderator.
Do we?
It's at r/Bacon&Eggs podcast.
I did not know that.
Yep. It has never had anybody post. I logged into it today and it said 2 members, 3 online. So clearly not very active, but we do have a subreddit, r/Bacon&Eggs podcast.
Boy, you should drive some traffic there, because I just joined the popcorn culture subreddit. I actually wanted to see if anybody had ever said anything about me on the popcorn culture subreddit. I wanted to see if there were any any feedback whatsoever. I was very curious and was having one of those moments where like I wanted somebody to step to me.
You wanted somebody to be like, the editing this week was subpar.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? You know where you go digging for bad vibes. You've been there before.
I used to be a top fan on a local news channel's Facebook page.
Yeah, so I got in a mood where I was checking the Discord and the SCB Discord, the popcorn culture section, and the subreddit. And that subreddit, they're really having a lot of fun over there.
Yeah, Benjamin more than once at a family dinner recently was like, "Did you see this on the subreddit?" And I was like, "Well, dang."
They keep talking about it more and more every week, and it keeps getting because they crowdsourced their corny joke there.
Oh, that's good.
And ever since Ben started doing the coyote thing, it's just been a lot of coyote memes, and it's real fun.
Truthfully, I've never listened to popcorn culture.
Ben does a coyote thing.
I do know that they talk about me more than never on popcorn
More
culture.
than never, yeah. But Ben does a fun fact about coyotes every week, and I've contributed to like making it a thing because I without asking put a little like musical sting with it.
You should.
So Ben was like, "Here's a fun fact about coyotes," and I was just like, and just like a 3-second thing.
Do you have the listener score?
I do. So for the first time ever on Bacon and Eggs, we have a round number listener score.
Really?
Yeah, it came out to a round number. Do you want to know what that round number is, Tyler?
Can I guess?
Yeah, go for it.
78.
No. The smile on my face should tell you something. It's 69. Our first ever round number on Bacon and Eggs is a clean 69.
Okay, so let me punch these in. Tyler scores 65. Ethan scores 60. Rotten Tomatoes 83. This is definitely gonna be the lowest film on
Sure,
our.
yeah, it should be.
And it is.
As from a step back point of view, is like it's kind of a lame Christmas movie. Like at the end of the day, it's kind of a lame Christmas movie. It's not, it's not Lord of the Rings. It's not Shrek. It's not an all-time classic.
Right. So do you want to know the base score? Bacon and Egg score?
Yeah. Don't ever call it the base score again.
I know it's not. It's
That
just
was
not
bad?
the base score. That's part of the problem with bagels is that I don't like the name. The Bacon and Egg score is a 68.
Heck yeah, happiest season.
So that definitely puts it at the bottom of the list, considerably below Easy A. I know that in the past we've kept the Christmas movies in their own echelon.
I see no reason to now with the objective reviews.
I agree. But that does put it in the last place by 12 points.
Yeah, that's fair. I can't imagine that it will be unseated anytime soon.
Next week we have a classic, so I have a feeling that will pass it. And then we don't have anything slated for the following few weeks. But if I get to talk to Beth Riekels, that's always an opportunity to give something 100.
I would really like to cover one of the classics this year. One of the old
I would
ones.
also like to cover one of the classics. The Christmas classics are something that I'm woefully underread on.
So we can we got a week before that's going to happen. We can have a conversation about which one of those. It will be. There's something to be said for White Christmas because it's on Netflix.
Okay, but It's a Wonderful Life is the one that I hear more about.
That's the one I really want to do, but it's kind of hard to get your hands on.
Can I not buy it?
I don't know. I haven't really checked. In the past, it's been sort of hard to get your hands on.
Okay.
Some of those older movies aren't as readily available because that'll be the oldest movie we have done on Bacon and Eggs by, I don't know, 25 years, maybe more. I don't really remember when it came out. 1946. So about 20 years. So some of those get a little bit hard to, if they're not on Disney Plus, they get a little bit hard to put your hands on. But we'll figure it out. We got Narnia next week. Danny from Is This Editing? No, not Is This Editing. Editing is everything.
What were you trying to say?
I don't know.
Also slated sometime in 2020, 2021, year 4 is Andrew Scott Bell to come talk about Hook.
Yeah. Also to have Beth Riekels talk about the kissing booth.
Just know, Ethan, I'll tell you now, the Beth Riekels coming on to talk about the kissing booth is an instant 100 from Tyler.
Okay.
If I'm talking to the author,
yeah, I mean,
of
I don't
the
think
movie,
I definitely think it would be a little bit of like, yeah, this is the perfect movie. I promise.
I also love Beth as a human being. She's
So cool.
Every interaction I've ever had with her has been fantastic.
Yeah, so I'm very excited to get her book, Christmas book. Very excited for the Christmas book she just finished. Love Christmas books.
I maybe just I entered to win the free one, but I may just buy it and see if I can get a signed copy.
I read Let It Snow by Maureen Johnson, John Green, and Laura Miracle every year. Fun fact.
I'm curious if I message Beth, and I don't know if she listens, but if I message her and say, hey, if I Venmo you the list price or more of this book, will you just send via the mail?
Fair. I just bought it from the link that she said. It turns out it was very easy. It's way easier to buy a book from England than it is from America if you're buying it from not Amazon.
One of my biggest complaints about the book industry is that Amazon got its start as a book reseller and is the worst website to buy books from.
But it's also the easiest.
Correct. But like, I don't mean worst. Like, I'm very interested in the binding. I'm very interested in the cover. And a lot of times, if I click the paperback option on Amazon, the image they show is not the image I receive.
Really?
Yeah, like if you go on right now and you buy Ready Player One, it may show the original artwork, but you will get.
Oh yeah, if I'm looking for something like that, yeah, I'm gonna go buy it in a store. I'm actually gonna go to Book No Further tomorrow and buy Ready Player 2.
Is that the one downtown, right
Yep.
down the street from you?
Still is.
I keep forgetting the name. I'm used to too many books. I know the owner; she's very sweet.
Well, it's the one that's right by me, and they have it in the window, so I'm just gonna go grab a copy.
That's very
Because I don't have a physical, and I want a physical because I didn't get a physical. I actually ended up getting one. I had to hunt for it though. I had to get a non-movie cover hardback Ready Player One.
I also have a non-movie cover hardback of Ready Player One. It is on my shelf. It's a very sweet gift from our moderators.
I did not receive mine as a gift. I received mine as I walked into a Books A Million at the Potomac Mills Mall in wherever the hell that is in Northern Virginia and said, "Hi, do you have a non-movie cover version of Ready Player One?" And the guy at Books A Million was like, "Hell yeah, we do. I hate movie covers." And help me find it.
How cool would it be to own a bookstore?
It'd be so cool. It'd be so cool. I think that none of them make any money.
I don't know that that's true. Because if you thrift textbooks, you can support a business on that.
I guess. I don't know. I would love to own a bookstore.
Do it, Ethan.
I don't have any money to open a business.
You just go to the bank and say, "Hey, I'd like to open a bookstore."
They would not give me capital right now.
No?
No.
Well, if you start thrifting a bunch of books, they'll probably be like, well, at least you know what you're doing.
Cool. Anyway, let's wrap this up. Our music is by... Nope. I almost said music by Vaishon Brandon. Our music is by Andrew Scott Bell. AndrewScottBellmusic.com. Going to be a guest on Baking Eggs here shortly. Our graphics are by Vaishon Brandon. Already been a guest. Graphite.vmb on Instagram. This is... Well, I guess we already played a trailer in the middle of the episode. So that was a trailer for Sincerely Us. Cool. Yeah. Go to EthanASO.com. Buy prints from me. I need money.
Go to
and also they're great gifts for your friends.
/Ty's wish list. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. That probably will take you to nothing. Buy prints of Ethan's prints for friends and family as gifts. They're very, very nice. They come on nice glossy or non-glossy paper, depending upon what they come on.
Depending on which store you buy them from. If they come from freaking darkroom edgehillphotos.darkroom.tech, they will come on a glossy paper, and if they come from me directly, they will not.
Are you not a gloss guy?
I'm not.
Also, this holiday season, go ahead and support your local bookstore. I bet there's one near you.
And if there's not one near you or you don't feel like going to it, you can go to bookshop.com and then buy books online, and they will give the money to basically the closest bookstore to your zip code.
So there you go.
Closest like indie bookstore.
There you go. Ethan, you got anything else to add?
Nope.
Oh, this falls on number 9 on our 9 film year 4 list. Happy Season was a fantastic film to watch. I very much enjoyed it. And we'll see you next week to talk about the Chronicles of Narnia. Go ahead and watch it now while you got the chance.
Yeah, I've been Ethan Edgehill. He's been Tyler Carlin. Until next week, arrivederci.
Aubrey Plaza.